Good day, subscribers, and welcome back to the Contrarian Everybody. Now, today is Friday the 13th, and today I'll be talking about the gold and silver rally that both these metals had just today, up very dramatically. I think the most probably the largest single day move both of these metals have had in the last year, I would guess. Just a dramatic move to the upside. Gold up about a little over 3%, silver up about 4.5% today. So both these metals up very dramatically here to end the week. And the real question I'm going to try to answer is, is this the beginning of a new bull market, or is gold and silver finally starting to break out? And, what is causing this? Because there's maybe a few things that could be attributed to, gold and silver rallying like they have. First thing is it's probably a combination of these reasons. Now, we have the geopolitical conflict. Obviously, Russia Ukraine hasn't resolved. That's still going on. But then recently, we've had the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel, and then the US and NATO, potentially getting involved there. So there's a lot of, more geopolitical tension. Gold and precious metals tend to perform well in that kind of scenario. So, there's the reality that that's probably factoring into why gold and silver rallied so heavily today. There's also the fact that inflation came in higher than expected this last week. So, gold and silver definitely a hedge against inflation and the monetary debasement that tends to occur to all currencies over a long period of time. Basically, all fiat currencies do end up being almost completely worthless, if not completely worthless. And eventually, all the previous reserve currencies, so far, anyways, have all been replaced by newer ones. So, just in the very long-term trend of things, it would be logical to expect that gold and silver will continue to rally in coming decades, very long-term time frame relative to all fiat currencies. It doesn't matter which one you're talking about, whether it's the dollar, the euro, the yen, the Chinese yuan, whatever. But today and even the last week, gold has rallied very strongly in most fiat currencies, not just the dollar, but the yen, Australian dollar, the euro, British pound, whatever fiat currency you want to pick. Gold has done very well in the recent week. So there's those things. Is this the beginning of a new bull market? Is this kind of the early innings of a gold bull market? Obviously, there have been past times in the last 3 years, 2.5 years, when I would have thought that conditions were ripe for a gold market, for a bull market in gold and silver, for those breaking out. It hasn't happened yet. The conditions have been pretty much ripe, in my opinion, for that to have happened. Gold has basically had a triple top now at around $2,080. It's stayed within the 1600 to 2080 region. This bull flag, you could call it that. But basically, looking at this chart, I mean, gold has stayed within this trading range. Silver has stayed between 17, where it reached a low of about 17 last October. It's rallied up to about $28. So a wider range for silver, but also again a bull flag pattern with silver. And so a couple of things I'll point out with trying to answer this question of, is this the beginning of a gold bull market, another up leg where it does actually break out of this trading range and a lot of enthusiasm returns to the market. I do think it's a little too early to say that for sure. Some signs that do point towards that are that managed money is back to a fairly large net short position in gold. So looking at gold specifically, basically the other times that managed money has bet this heavily against gold, it has rallied fairly strongly. So basically what this chart is showing is that you should not trust managed money to make sound decisions, because they have been dead wrong, at least with shorting gold in the past. So if history does repeat itself here, it would suggest that gold is probably due for a rally here pretty soon. Um, it does maybe suggest too that once managed money has reached this level of skepticism and pessimism and has bet this heavily against gold, that's kind of when the next bull market or next rally can actually occur. So it's kind of ironic that in the past, when gold has rallied so significantly, hedge funds and managed money like this has been, really the ones who have not benefited from it. Um, Another thing I will point out that tends to front run upcoming gold, precious metal, I should say, bull rallies is the junior stocks. So the junior mining stocks obviously are very high leverage in gold and silver. I do have maybe a dozen of these, incorporated into my portfolio. I've covered some of these in the past. They're not, large positions because they are obviously very leveraged, very speculative, more so speculative, I would say. I would say that they're, I've obviously looked at the fundamentals. I like the business and management team behind them. But looking, for example, at a stock like Abra Silver or Hercules Silver or Outcrop Silver, specifically, or Silver X, um, Go Gold Resources, all of these are in my portfolio, by the way. But they, and speaking of junior exploration stocks in gold generally, they tend to front run the majors and front run the price of gold and silver itself, in terms of predicting the next sort of up leg of a gold silver bull market. So, looking in the past, it's been the case of where these juniors have begun to break out relative to the price of gold and silver, relative to the previous trading ranges that these stocks have been in, leading up to the gold breakout. And so, looking recently what these juniors have done, some of them are breaking out pretty dramatically. In the case of something like Hercules Silver, obviously it's due to drill results, exploration results that they've put out. But in the case of other junior stocks, it's not as decisive, it's not for as specific reasons as something like Hercules Silver, which is definitely the, stock that's done the best in my portfolio this week. But it goes without saying that if history repeats itself here with these junior mining stocks, that it could be, expected that if we are on the cusp of a gold and silver breakout, we should expect these junior exploration stocks to really start outperforming, attention to be given to them again. I mean, the downside to these stocks is that even in treading water territory where the price of gold just stays consistent, within a certain trading range, these stocks do go down pretty significantly, even during just a period of treading water. So it is kind of you do need to try to time it with these junior exploration stocks, because, if you get in at the wrong time and the price of gold just stays consistent, the price of that junior exploration stock might go down 50, 70%. But, it's just the name of the game. The gold, silver, precious metals space is a very emotional market. I do believe when it does finally get going, enthusiasm is going to return to it, like it has in the past. But looking at mining stocks in particular, that's going to send them up very dramatically, in my opinion, just given that the sentiment is in the toilet right now.